is as follows. First of all, Catherine is going to present on the Everything Help Desk version 10.0.1. She's going to talk about the new features and enhancements, and especially a lot of the bug fixes, including those 6 that are listed right there. Next, after Catherine is done, Amy Kaczynski is going to present on ticket templates. The reason that we're presenting on ticket templates is that they're such a powerful feature in the help desk, but so many people just don't use them, we found, for some reason or another. And we want to make sure that there's that we, tell you everything you need to know about ticket templates so that if you wish to use them, you can really get the full benefits out of them because it's such a powerful part of the help desk. And then after those 2 present, we're going to have a question and answer session. And so remember to keep your questions from like the first part of the presentation when Catherine's talking about version 10.0.1, remember to keep your questions because we'll have a big Q&A session at the end for both topics. And if you want to either type your questions into the chat or the Q&A box, either one is fine. And we'll try to answer as many as we can. But again, Q&A will come after both presenters are done. So with that in mind, I'm going to pass the ball over to Amy. Oh, no, first Catherine. I don't know what I was thinking there. And she's going to get us started on version 10.0.1.
Thanks, Keaton.
You are so welcome.
Let's see. Keaton, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can. I just saw the contact screen come up.
Okay, great. All right, the first thing that I want to just go over here, in our release notes for the version 10.0.1, we did list some bug fixes, and I will just briefly go over those real quick. When we first released 10.0, we did have some problems.
Actually, Catherine, can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
I can't see your screen. It flashed up real quick, but now it's gone away. You're going to have to share your screen again.
Hold on just a second. Okay, I think it's coming up.
There we go. Yep, I see
now
it
you can
perfectly.
See it. Okay, sorry for the delay. Okay, so again, to go over just a few of the bug fixes. Internet Explorer 8 and 9 had a few issues when we released version 10. I don't know if some of you have installed it and have experienced them, but the search tab, just for an example, wasn't appearing. But those have been fixed, so when you install 10.0.1, it will fix that problem. Also, on the installation of 10, there was some permgen errors, and those have been fixed as well. The group name is now listed under the user accounts. So when you're looking at your user accounts here, there used to be just a number in this column, but now the name of the group that the user belongs to will be listed there. The ticket tab count, I'm just going to click over to our site here. That's a little bit easier to see, this one. Right here on these tabs, for any tabs that you have created or technicians have created, it shows the number of tickets that are listed here. So like this one in particular has 90 tickets in it. If I come here and close out a ticket, then this will automatically refresh, which it was not doing in version 10. So that has been fixed. And now you can create tickets without, with certain required fields being hidden from the user. It's kind of a bug fix and an enhancement because in the, I'll just go right into that, it's basically the category and the category options. What was happening is we had customers coming in here and they were editing the ACL, and they, in this particular area, they didn't want users to be able to view the category or change the category or the category option. Therefore, all of the tickets would look more like the email to ticket feature. So those items would not be filled out. But what was happening is they would hide that from the user, and when the user would submit the ticket, an error would appear because those fields were required. We have now made it so that those fields are not required. So you can come here to the ACL and under view category, change category, view category option, or change category option, you can take those items away from the user so that they can now submit a ticket without entering that information in. If you want to hide it from them, then they won't even see it at all. They won't even know that it's a field there. If you want to keep the field there so that they can select the category or the category option, then you can do that as well. So it's up to you how you want to run that and what you want your users to see. And then it looks like the last thing, the member role cannot have tickets assigned to them. That was a bug on accident in version 10. For some reason they could, and so we've just switched that back to what it was meant to be, and that is so that the member role cannot have tickets assigned to them. So the only roles that can would be the technician or the manager role. Okay, so as far as the enhancements go, I kind of went over one on the category and the category option, just making sure that those are no longer required. So now when you come to view the ticket or enter a new ticket, if you'll notice right here next to category and category option, there is no longer a red asterisk indicating that it is not required. You can still enter that. Technicians can still, if they want to categorize these after users put tickets in, they can enter a category or a category option. It just might make it a little bit easier for the user if they don't quite know where to put that. One of the other things is the Asset tab is no longer available to those who don't have security to it. So basically the users won't even see this Asset tab anymore. If it's something that you're using and your technicians and managers do have access to that, then they will see that Asset tab, but users will not see that. And probably the biggest one that a lot of people were waiting for, that is public filters. Users can no longer come into a public filter and edit that. And so you can create public filters, or your technicians can, and users will not be able to come in and edit those. In the past, filters would be created that people were using internally with their technicians, but a user could come right in here and edit it and change it and then save it to the filter that they wanted to run, and then it would not be correct when the technician wanted to use it. So users can no longer edit those public ticket filters. So that's about it for the enhancements and the bug fixes on 10.0.1. If you have any questions on these, just go ahead and type the questions in or ask them at the end, and I can answer any of those questions that might come up. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to Amy so that she can go over the ticket templates.
Thank you, Catherine. So just real quickly, I'm going to run through ticket templates and the 3 different types of templates. So just before I get started, those 3 different types are ticket templates with a workflow, and then routine or recurring tasks, and then also a quick ticket. So I'll show you just a few examples of how we use each of those. Okay, Keaton, let me know when you can see my screen.
It's up right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I have logged in as the admin so that I can see ticket templates across all groups for these examples. So the first type that I'm going to go into is the workflow of a ticket template. So this is something that's not recurring, doesn't happen on a regular basis, such as a new hire. So let me kind of show you what this looks like and how we have it set up. So you'll notice that this can go across multiple groups. For example, the setup of workstation is done by the facilities and maintenance group. And then the computer setup is actually done in IT. And then once you get down here further to like accounts creation and training, those are done in human resources. You can see that we have quite an extensive process set up here. This can be as simple or as extensive as you need it to be. And then the workflow of that, let me show that to you. So first of all, you'll want to make sure that this enable workflow is checked here at the top. That is what will launch these tickets in this order rather than launching them all at the same time. So for this example, we want to start out by setting up the workstation and bringing the power to the new workstation. But then once these are set to the status resolved, then we will launch the next steps. So in this example, we definitely don't want the computer and the phone and office supplies that are delivered before we have the workstation and power set up. So that's why we separate these into different steps. It's pretty simple to do to set up the workflow. They will all start out over here under the ticket templates, just in a list here. And then all that you have to do is just drag them to the steps that you want them in. You can rearrange them. It's pretty easy to set up the workflow. And then you just determine which status you want to be for the tickets to be set to for the next set of tickets to launch. So for example, down here further, we have some that are set to work in progress, and that launches the next set of tickets. So that's just a quick overview of the workflow of a ticket. The next example that I'm going to show is the recurring or routine tasks. So if I go into the IT group, update servers is the example that we're going to be using. So you can see that I have multiple tickets set up under this one also. And then I do also have a workflow set up. The workflow is optional, but if there's things that need to happen in a certain order, I highly suggest using the workflow. That way you can make sure that the things that need done first get done first, and you aren't there, for example, in the last one to deliver the computer when there's no desk. Okay, so for this example, we're talking about the recurrence. So this recurrence is very flexible. You can have it run daily, you can have it run weekly, every week, every 3 weeks on Monday and Friday. You can have it run monthly on a certain day of the month. You can have it like the second Wednesday of every 2 months. It's very flexible, and you have a lot of options here. You'll also see down here the range of recurrence. Typically, you'll usually start it on the day that you're setting it up and then end never. You can always come back in here and tell it to end. But if you know for sure that there's a specific day that you want it to end or end after a certain number of occurrences, you can set that up here also. Then all you need to do is save changes. And then if you go back to your ticket templates list, you'll notice this play icon right here. So when the circle is like a half circle and not moving, that means that the recurrence is not, it's not set to recur right now. But if you push the play icon, then you'll see this starts running, and that means the recurrence is happening. So this ticket will launch on the schedule that you have set up. Okay, so for the last example is a quick ticket. This is typically just one ticket. Often it will be public, so that the user can launch it, but it could also be a private ticket, so only your technicians can launch it. For this example, we're going to show the reset username and password. So it's pretty simple. We just have one ticket set up here. For this example, we have the contacts and the location left blank, but everything else is filled out with instructions on how to reset your username and password. We also have this, for this example, the status is set to resolved, so that when the user launches this ticket, it's actually launching in the resolved status. That way our technicians don't have to work on it. But it is still considered an open ticket, so if the user has any questions, they can leave comments and technicians can respond and reopen the ticket. Okay, so I'm actually going to launch this ticket template and show you how it looks from the user side of things in the launch status. To launch a ticket template, you just go on this drop down here next to My Tickets, go to Ticket Templates, select the group that it's under, and then you'll select the ticket template you want to launch. Okay, so you'll notice here that everything was filled out other than the contact and location. The contact is automatically filled, so then I'll just select my location and push the launch button. And this ticket is, oh, I obviously missed something here. But once you fill out all the correct information, then the ticket will launch. And now the user would have the information needed to reset their username and password. So one last thing that I wanted to explain was the difference between a quick ticket and storing something like this in the knowledge base. You may notice that in past webinars we've talked a lot about the knowledge base and storing information like how to reset your password in the knowledge base. So the difference really between the two and deciding on which you would like to use would be that in the ticket templates, you can store information that can only be accessed if you are logged in. So for example, in this example, you want to have the user to be able to reset their username and password. But in the knowledge base, you might store something like resetting your password if you've forgotten your password. So the difference being that if the user is not logged in, then they can click into the knowledge base and find out how to reset their password, but they wouldn't be able to change their username or password without being logged in. So it's just a difference of security levels and which security you prefer, if you want them to be logged in or not. Either way is very useful to store things like resetting your username and password. So with that, I think that we are finished covering the ticket templates. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to put those through on the chat or the Q&A. And I will turn it back over to Keaton, and I believe that we're ready to start the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Amy. Both you and Katrin did a great job. So everybody, I've seen several questions come in already, and we have your questions, and we're getting them. However, I'd just like to give everybody just a minute or two really quick to type in your questions. As soon as that minute's up, we'll start answering all the questions that we can. So go ahead and type in your questions. Also, I should mention, I forgot to mention this earlier, Jennifer Prescott's also with us today. Me and Jen, the customer care representatives, and a lot of you will recognize that we're the ones that will contact you about various things that try to keep in touch with you. If you have any questions directly for us, that was a perfect time to ask those questions, and we can answer those. So any questions that you have, we'll give you a quick minute or two to type them in, and then we'll start answering them.
Okay, so I'm seeing a question from Tana about, let's see, the question says public tickets users can see and private tickets are for technicians and above, correct? Yes, that is correct. I believe am I still sharing my screen? Here, let me check real fast. It's pretty simple to set up, though. If you can see my screen, I'm not sure if you can or not. But the ticket template, when you edit a ticket template, right next to the name at the top, there's just a check mark that you can mark as private or public. So to make it a private article, you just check the box, and then only technicians and above would be able to see that.
I have another.
Okay, I'm seeing another question here. Is there a place on your site that goes through a step-by-step explanation on setting up a routine template? Yes, we do have a couple of videos about setting up ticket templates, and I will put those links in the Q&A for you under that question, so that way you can look at those videos. And then if you have any further questions about setting up ticket templates, Catherine actually does our customer trainings, so you can just get in contact with her and she can walk through it one-on-one with you and make sure that you have things set up the way that you would like them to be.
The next question we have is version 10.0.1 compatible with custom fields? And we're going to let Catherine answer that one.
Version 10.0.1 is compatible with custom fields. Right now, the user would have to select the category and the category option if that's what your custom fields are attached to. If you want to attach them just to the group, then they will populate based on the group selection or based on the location selection. But yes, they are still compatible.
Okay, so I'm seeing another question here. They asked if anyone has our help desk link, can they view knowledge base articles? Yes, if the knowledge base article is a public article, then you do not have to be logged in to view the article. So just from the login screen, there's a search knowledge base button. And if you click on that, then you can get to your public knowledge base. So if there's anything that you don't want out in the public or anyone with your link to have, then you'll want to store that privately in the knowledge base. Okay, so another question here, is there somewhere that lists where what the private option does for each activity? Sometimes it means just you, and sometimes it means technicians only. Yeah, so that is correct depending on where you're at in the help desk. For example, the ticket filters and ticket search, if it is private, that means just you. However, ticket templates and knowledge base and a few other pieces, if it means private, that means technicians and above. My suggestion for you on determining which type of private it is, whether it's just for you or technicians or above, is to look in the help files. So when you're logged into the help desk, in the upper right-hand corner next to your name and the sign out button, there's another button for help, and I would just look in the help files and look under that specific section that you're in, whether it's ticket templates or knowledge base or the filters, and it should explain the difference between public and private for that feature.
Everybody, just want to remind you that some of your questions are being answered in the chat and the Q&A boxes, so keep an eye out for the answers that will come to you through text. Just be patient. We're trying to get to all the questions, and so some of them will be answered verbally and some of them will be just answered in the chat and the Q&A boxes, so make sure you look out to see if we've typed in an answer to your question. We'll keep getting to more questions, so just hold on tight.
Okay, so there's a question here, can we remove the forgot your password button or feature if we use LDAP authentication? So yes, that is an option. You can do that whether or, let me log in and make sure. You can remove that option. So yes, you can remove the forgot your password. That automatically goes away if you are integrated with your LDAP. So they would not be able to change their help desk password since it is the same credentials as your LDAP.
Okay, we had a question that says, will technicians be able to create ticket templates in future releases, or will they always be reserved for admin users? Right now, it's just currently set for managers or administration to create ticket templates, and that could be something that could change in the future, but as it is right now, it's just for managers, unless you go into the ACL and give that technician the rights to do so. So by default, a technician cannot unless you go in and give them the rights.
Okay, so a couple questions here just real quickly. There's one comment, I'm not seeing a screen, all I have is the Q&A. Yeah, that's all that we have up right now. If there's anything that we need to show in the help desk, then we'll flip back to that. but right now you're seeing what you should be seeing. Okay, so the next question, in version 10, can we allow a user to see all tickets for a specific site versus all tickets or only their tickets? So in version 10 in the ACL, as you may remember, the ACL is all group-based. So there is an option to view all group tickets. Right now that is not site-specific, but you would be able to grant a user rights for to be able to see all group tickets. Okay, so I'm seeing another question here. We can copy a ticket or a template and make slight changes to make a different one. So yes, you can do that, and let me share my screen and show you exactly how to do that. Keaton, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So on the ticket templates screen, what I would suggest is just using this copy button here. So you can copy the ticket template, and then when you go in to edit your new one, just give it a different name and save the changes, and you have the same template or a similar template as the first one that you have set up. Okay, so I'm seeing a question here from Amanda. Are you able to trigger the workflow on custom fields? I believe what you're talking about, let me go into a workflow here, is this portion right here. So if I think what you're asking is if the custom field says a specific thing, then it will trigger the next step. Right now that is not an option. All that we have is the status that can trigger the next step in a workflow. But if that's something that you'd like to see, we can put that in as an enhancement request for you and look at that in the future. Okay, so I also have a question here. Will you open your server's template, please? So here's how I have it set up. I'm not sure if you wanted to see the actual tickets or the workflow, recurrence, which portion of it. But we have the tickets here. And then I was just on the workflow screen here. And then we also have the recurrence set up. But I'll leave this up on the ticket screen. If there's something else you'd like to see, just let me know and I can switch to that screen. Okay, so I'm seeing a question here from John. Can we limit users when opening tickets to assign them to one group? For example, maybe the help desk group, but not others. My suggestion for that is if you are wanting the user to only be submitting tickets in one group, then in the ACL, you can, for the other groups, not give them rights to submit tickets under that group. So let me show you exactly where that's at right now. It's just in the ACL. If you go into the permission models, let me edit this one. It's just this right here, create new tickets. So in the permission model for the group that you do not want them to submit tickets under, just change this create new tickets to the role of member or technician or whichever level you would like them to be able to submit tickets for. Okay, so I have a request to go to the new hire ticket screen. Again, I will go to our new hire tickets that we have set up. If you'd like to see the workflow or anything else like that, just let me know. And again, this new hire process can be, it could be as extensive as you need it to be, or it could be simplified. If you're using Everything Help Desk in multiple departments, it can cross all of the departments that are involved in the new hire process. Okay, so the question here that I'm seeing is from Jason. Location field in our tickets is used to denote the site, for example, the school that generated that ticket. That field being changed causes all child groups and categories to be blanked and reset. In ticket templates, how can we have location changed without resetting? So that's a new feature starting with version 10 with the location being decoupled. So if you're on a version 9.3.4 or previous to that, then yes, when you change the location, everything below it will be blanked out. But let me actually show you, for example, in a new ticket, the location is now decoupled. So if you select the group, then you can select everything else below it. And the location can be changed without affecting anything else in the hierarchy. Location has just been removed from the hierarchy, but assignments are still tied to location. So it hasn't been completely removed from everything in the ticket. And Jason, part of the reason, just so that you understand, so that we did the decoupling of the location was for the ticket template, so that you could set up a template that could be used across multiple locations, and you'd be able to change the location when it's launched, rather than having multiple templates set up for each location or for every different location with all the same other information. So I hope that makes ticket templates easier for you with the upgrade to version 10 and the decoupled location.
All right, everybody, we think we've gotten most, if not all, of the questions. We'll give you a minute to put in the last, we have a couple more. Just give you a minute to put in the last questions, or let us know if we haven't answered your question real quick.
Okay, we have a question here about the assets, and it is, can you make a printable report of all the licenses you have for assets? Up here on the screen, there are banked reports here in the asset tracker, and so they're assets by owner, group, type, the lease expiration report, warranty expiration report, and the purchase report. Let's see, it's the licenses that you're looking for. You can print them on one of these reports, or you could run a filter and print that out.
Okay, so the question here, can you set the location to use the user's info to populate like via LDAP? So what we're talking about is if you have a user, let me see if I can find one, that has a location tied to them. Yes, so like in this one, Kyle is at Layton City. Can we make that auto-populate when he launches the ticket for his location? Right now, it does not. That is something that we're looking at to see if it will be included in a future release or not. But right now, it does not auto-populate with the user's location. Okay, so the next question from Alan here, do all the workflow members need to be licensed? If I understand your question correctly, you're talking about anybody that any of these tickets will be assigned to. So the answer to that is yes. If a ticket's going to be assigned to anyone, whether it's part of the ticket templates or just a regular ticket in the system, they do need to have a license. Okay, so you said, for example, in HR. So yes, in this example, if you're using HR as part of your ticket template, for example, in the accounts creation, the training, things like that, then they would need to have a license to be able to receive the assignment for those tickets. And if you're interested in doing any of that, please contact our customer care team. They can help you. They can help you with the purchase of additional licenses. They can also help you figure out how the other departments can best use the help desk, for example, in cases like this with HR.
That's one of the things we really like doing too, Amy. It's good that you brought that up. If any of you ever have questions about how you can leverage the help desk for other departments or you want to do more licenses, me and Jen are always happy to help you with that.
Okay, so another question here, is the asset part a separate program to purchase? The asset tracker is included in the help desk. We just have an internal asset tracker. You can also use other asset trackers such as ZenWorks. We support ZenWorks 7, 10, and 11. So if you're interested in getting started with the asset tracker, again, that's something that Catherine would be able to walk you through. So just give her a call or send her an email if you would like to get started with that.
All right, everybody, we'd like to thank you so much, not only for being here in this webinar, for all of your questions. We love the opportunity to interact with all of you and answer all the questions that we can. I believe that we have answered every question that's come into us. And so we're going to end at this time now. Keep in mind, if you have any other questions, you can still type them in. We'll stay on for the next couple minutes. You can still type them in the chat or the Q&A, and we will still answer those questions for you. And also remember that this recording, this webinar is being recorded and will be up, and the link will be sent to all of you. And usually within the next couple hours, it's loaded up onto the site. So you can always view this webinar again if you wish. Also, another reminder that we hope to see you at our dinner that's on Monday, February 4th at BrainShare. If you're going to be at BrainShare, we hope that you come to our customer dinner. It's going to be a good dinner, and we're going to have lots of good information there. And so we hope to see you there face-to-face. Remember to connect with us, like us on LinkedIn, Google+, and Facebook. And that's all we have for today. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate all our great customers that come to these webinars, and they're always good. And so we hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.